the top story now, the mystery surrounding Kenyatta National Hospital's brain surgery saga deepened after the institution denied claims that one of the patients has died. The hospital, which has yet to reveal the identities of the two patients involved, said a university student who died at the hospital was not involved in the mix-up as claimed by his family. Will Kistanyabwa has the details.
A family in mourning in Trans Nzoia trying to come to terms with the death of 25-year-old Angelos Miano, a second-year university student who they say was due to undergo head surgery at Kenyatta National Hospital. He did not, and on the 27th of February, Angelos died. His family claims he was a patient who was scheduled to undergo surgery at the country's biggest referral hospital, Kenyatta National Hospital, when a mix-up occurred and a neurosurgeon opened up the head of another patient who did not require the procedure. But just hours after the family made its claims, the mystery deepened as the hospital came out to deny these claims. In a statement, the hospital admitted that Angelos had been admitted in the neurosurgery ward in critical condition on the 19th of February. 2 days later, he was transferred to the critical care unit, after which he died. But the hospital maintains, sad though his tale is, he was not part of the mix-up. Instead, the hospital insists that the two patients involved are alive, still receiving treatment, and have made remarkable improvement. KNH is yet to reveal the identities of the two who were both admitted with head injuries. Following the incident, Dr. Peter Masinde was appointed the acting director of clinical services after Dr. John KNH declined the position, citing personal reasons. KNH had been appointed on Friday to replace Bernard Githai, who was sent on compulsory leave alongside CEO Lily Koros. Dr. Thomas Mutie has taken over from Lily Koros as acting CEO. A section of leaders from the Rift Valley have since come out in support of the CEO, urging Health Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki to rescind her decision to suspend Koros.
There is a sustained effort from some of the factions, whether in government, politics, or private interest groups, to hound professionals from certain communities out of office and replace them with those favorable to them. Misinterpretation of facts in relation to the management of Kenyatta National Hospital is malicious, in bad faith, and undermines the goodwill enjoyed by Jubilee government in South Rift.
The hospital board has launched investigations into the events leading.
Yes, the story is also on page 9 of the Daily Nation. Doctors in blame game over Kenyatta National Hospital surgery saga. Registrars say their suspended colleague was victimized, one consultant punished. It's also on page 8 of the Standard. New twist in KNH surgery, bland probe. Hospital says the two patients enrolled in brain surgery mix-up are alive, as varsity student's family insists he died from the incident. The Standard has also done us a favor. At what point did the mix-up occur? And they give us a breakdown of what exactly happens at a hospital of that stature just before surgery. I'm trying to see what the kind of discussions are online. Let me just look for Kenyatta National Hospital. Then we see what people are talking about. Hashtag KNH. Of course, the fact that CEO has been, Lily Koros has been sent on compulsory leave. Hashtag KNH response. Could this be a setup by cartels to move Koros out of office? Mara rape, Mara baby swollen, and now mix up. Who is behind this? Something is not adding up. Well, someone reads malice in all this. Some are even taking a tribal angle to it. Well, in studio this morning we do have Stephen Rutere, member of the National Executive Committee of the Kenya National Union of Nurses. Good morning, Stephen. Karibu sana. You are very quick as KNUN to come out to defend your nurses. As things continue, each group is now defending its own. We're seeing senior doctors defending themselves, the management defending itself, students now defending themselves as well, master's degree students. Surely something went wrong. If at all of you defend yourselves, then how will we get an answer to this?
No, thank you for that. First of all, may I take this opportunity to say to Kenyans that it is an unfortunate incident, and really we don't intend to do things the way they have been done. First, I would like to urge every Kenyan to desist from politicizing the matter. One, we should get the root causes before even condemning any worker. We as a union, we acknowledge, or we applaud the cabinet secretary for the decision she took, because this is not a disciplinary action, and nobody should go home for discipline. But at least being sent on compulsory leave is to pave way for investigation.
Yes.
First of all, I as a worker, I used to work in KNH. We have numerous challenges there.
Yes.
And it is true, this thing can happen.
Does it happen? Probably this was the biggest case because it had to do with the brain, but probably other minor surgeries, do such mix-up happen often?
Okay, I cannot really point out any single incident, but human errors are bound to happen during medical procedures or in medicine. But at least we should take this moment and ask ourselves what was not done and what we needed to do so that to avoid these incidences. One of the challenges, I will point out about 4 challenges. One of them is corruption. And in corruption, I will not talk about the monetary corruption. One, it is only in Kenyatta National Hospital where workers have been curtailed of their rights. For example, the management has refused to recognize the union, which is a voice of the nurses or of the workers, where these issues, it is only the union which can talk on behalf of the workers on what is happening on the ground, on what we are missing for the workers to do their work. Is only the union.
Okay. Now that you have this platform here,
yes.
What would you say was missing? Because this is a group effort before a patient goes to theatre, where nurses are involved, doctors, clinicians, and all these people are involved. What would you say the workers at Kenyatta Hospital were missing, that if at all the management had provided, then this mix-up would not have happened?
And the second challenge is, your question links to our second challenge, which is shortage and lack of resources. Either there are few resources or there are none. For example,
human resource or
both human resource and material resources. One, it is only in public hospitals where we have a ratio, an unreasonable ratio, patient-doctor, nurse-doctor-patient ratios.
Yes.
WHO recommendations stipulates that one nurse takes care of only 6 patients.
Yes.
In this particular incident, during that the material day,
yes,
when this incident occurred, there were only 3 nurses against the 66 patients.
Okay.
That gives you a ratio of 1 nurse to 22.
So you do acknowledge the nurses that they were overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed by the kind of the work, and this leads to burnout, and even you can at least exhaustion and fatigue can lead to such errors. Another thing is the admission procedure, as we were taught in school. Once immediately a patient presents himself in any hospital, unfortunately it's only in public hospitals. And this I would like to point out so that the cabinet secretary can at least assist all the public hospitals now as that portfolio to give us those resources.
In as far as admission is concerned?
Yes. Once a patient presents for admission, is identified for admission, he or she is supposed to be tagged. Immediately, before being taken to the ward. It's supposed to be provided with a name tag with the proper names, provided by the relatives, and if where there is no relative, at least you can use the ID of the patient. If there is no ID, you write.
So in this particular case, that tagging was
there was no tagging.
So identification of the patient and
there are no
tags.
There are no tags in the hospitals, in the public hospitals.
Even at Kenyatta National.
Even at Kenyatta National Hospital, and we used to improvise using strapping. And once you use strapping, you are surcharged for misuse of resources. Now, what do they want the nurses or the workforce to use? Another shortage is patient gowns. You find that when the patient is identified for admission, it's supposed to be changed from home clothes to hospital gowns. And those clothing are taken back with the relatives. Or if there are no relatives, they are packed properly and kept safely for until discharge of the patient. Now, this is a scenario where they are not there.
Okay.
So if they are there, they are less.
And you say you've worked at Kenyatta National Hospital, and you know that these things are missing.
I know the procedures which are carried out there. I've been working there for the last 15 years before I was dismissed for airing those views or for bringing out those issues. And I was shown the door. Okay.
So, Stephen Rutere, if at all a member of your union, one of those nurses, is found culpable of probably mishandling the situation, what do you think should happen to them? Should we let them off easy because Kenyatta National Hospital has a shortage of material and resources?
Now, one thing that we should say, and even the law says, nobody should be condemned unharmed. The action which has been taken by the CS for sending the CEO for compulsory leave should not be seen as a disciplinary action. The only thing which should be seen as a disciplinary action is suspending or interdicting anybody, because investigations have to be carried first to ascertain who end a mistake. And if it is found that it is the CEO who never provided these things, and nobody, the nurses didn't use them, then anyone found culpable should take the blame. But if the CEO is found that she was not provided with the financial resources to procure these things by the government. You see, we depend on the government.
It is a chain, yes.
Yes, it's a chain. If the government did not provide these resources for use at Kenyatta National Hospital, then the workers should be left out of the hook, because it is not their mistake. They had no resources to work with. One, I've mentioned about the staffing. We have a serious shortage of nurses. One nurse against 20 patients. What quality of care do you expect a nurse to give?
And the required ratio by WHO is 1 to 6.
1 to 6.
Wow.
Yes.
So going forward, do you expect that you will continue defending nurses in this particular incident? The way you came out and said nurses should not be blamed for this, probably start the investigation. As you said, anyone found culpable should not be condemned unheard.
Yes.
If at all a nurse is found culpable and they're given that room to defend themselves, will you still be there to defend them?
Yes, we are always there to defend our members. Remember, we are, even if they don't belong to, even if the management has refused us, the nurses to belong to a union. And this is what one of the corruption I've changed. I am asking even the CS Ministry of Health, Cicely Kariuki, to investigate on the matter where we are being deducted money forcefully without our consent.
Yes.
Any money deducted from a pay slip should bear the consent of the worker. So we will continue defending our members and all the nurses in the country, including the public hospitals, and I'm asking those even in the public hospitals to make an effort of joining the union. This is the only voice which can defend you in such times, in such cases.
And finally, before we let you go, Bwana Stephen Rutere, you mentioned somewhere that we should not politicize this matter.
Yes.
There are those already seeing it as something political. Even the fact that Lily Koros has been sent on compulsory leave, they're seeing underhand tactics by other forces. Do you get that feeling that probably this is beyond, because there's been a mention of cartel cartels, procurement cartels. Do you think that it's actually bigger than just a mix-up at the theatre level?
I will not exactly see, as I had mentioned, I would not like this incident to be politicized. As usual, as you know, as Kenyans, we are used to politicizing everything. It is true, there has been cartels. They have been featured even before.
Yes.
Throughout the country, we are a country of cartels. That one I can, for sure. We have even been named #1 in corruption in all sectors. But I would like us to be sober and at least get something good out of this incident and start doing things right. Let's always not be rushing to say this is political or someone is behind it. Nobody is behind to see that someone, an individual or a patient dies. It is a mistake which should be avoided at all costs. Even if we have chances of them happening, but at least we should reduce or take caution, at least to minimize and to have done, to say that we have done everything possible to prevent such incidents.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Bwana Stephen Mutere, a member of the National Executive Committee for the Kenyan National Union of Nurses, telling us the union's perspective of this brain surgery saga that continues to bedevil the Kenyatta National